on every Sunday night. Let's get it.
Welcome to the NFL.
They're stirred up here at Soldier.
We got the big one in the end zone. Is that nice to see?
When I lose, this is my moment. You will not forget it.
Champion for the world.
This is for history. I am the future.
Shot by Hershey. Mayfield fires the ball against the wall. The Steelers survive. Holy smokes.
It's showtime. Let the games begin.
Victory! Unbelievable, man.
Tom Brady just does his thing.
I was born to win.
We'll do it again.
It's showtime. Let the games begin. It's showtime.
Arlington, Texas, the site of the season debut of Sunday Night Football. And it's been an eventful offseason for 45-year-old Tom Brady. His retirement lasted a grand total of 40 days, but he's back for the Bucs as he begins his quest for title number 8. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott is in season number 7 and looking clean in his custom suit for week 1. He's also looking to finally get the Cowboys over the hump as he leads an offense filled with uncertainty. We've got Tampa Bay and Dallas to finish the first Sunday of the season right here on NBC. Hello and welcome inside our studio to Football Night in America. Maria Taylor alongside Tony Dungy and Jason Garrett. And if you haven't enjoyed every single second of the start of this Sunday, we might need to check your pulse because football's back and it certainly feels good. We're going to get into all of the craziness of week 1, but let's start with our game, Coach. You know, the knowns are the fact that we have Dak Prescott and Tom Brady playing, but there's some uncertainties you have about these teams.
There really are. Last year in the opener, those two guys were the best players on the field by far, but new cast of characters, new offensive linemen, new receivers. Will those new guys allow them to be great this year, Jason?
You said it. New offensive line on both sides, a lot of different moving parts. Somehow, some way, they got to quiet the game down a little bit. I think having some balance and running the football will help both these teams.
You saying running the football?
How about that? Kidding me?
Okay, they need to quiet the game. One thing we were not in the screening room was quiet because we had 9 games up on the screen. We were eating our snacks. They were healthy, obviously. But what has mattered most so far, Jason, in these first early games of week 1?
Hey, Maria, I'm a rookie. I'm looking at 9 games. I don't know where to look. But how about the comebacks?
How about it?
Really unbelievable. Hey, starting with the Saints, they were down 16. Jameis Winston went wild in the 4th quarter.
Had to knock the rust off. That's all it is. It's
sure
week
did.
1 rust. That's all it is.
The Colts were down 17. They come back to tie it. They played an extra quarter and still couldn't get it done. And how about the Browns? Back and forth. They finally win it against Carolina. It was a wild slate at 1 o'clock.
And Maria, is there a Super Bowl hangover? Thursday night, the Rams did not look good. Cincinnati, we're expecting Joe Burrow to light it up. Their offense, sacks, interceptions, turnovers. Very disappointing home loss for the Bengals.
Oh, man, it was impressive. We had comebacks, overtimes, a tie game. We're going to get you all the highlights there, but we also want to get you to Chris Sims, who's been keeping an eye on the quarterbacks in those early games. Chris?
Yep, you know, Maria. I mean, first off, 1 o'clock, a lot of good quarterback play. And let's start it off with what we saw right here in New York, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, their offense didn't run the ball real well today, but in big moments, he made big throws. None better than this right here for Duvernay, 25-yard touchdown pass on the money. How about the Washington Commanders? It was nothing but Carson Wentz and his right arm that carried this team. Made a few mistakes, but man, did he make a lot of big plays. This bomb to Terry McLaurin right there. Huge clutch win for the Commanders. And then Jalen Hurts. Eagles have an incredible football team, his ability to run the ball, and then his ability to put the ball on the money down the field to their new toy, A.J. Brown, Maria. Some great throws at the 1 o'clock games. We got some other good ones coming up at 4 o'clock, too.
All right, good stuff, Chris. We got the same old toys, you know, hanging out there in Arlington. You've seen them before. You know the names. Jack Collinsworth, Rodney Harrison. Yes, you are old. Take it away. Good evening, guys.
That's low right off the bat.
Let's go.
And Coach Dungy, I heard you talking about those Cincinnati Bengals. There has never been more belief in a Bengals offense. They enhanced that offensive line throughout the offseason. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the new-look Pittsburgh Steelers, how'd they knock off the AFC champs?
Well, Mike Tomlin knows exactly what his team looks like. New quarterback, so he put the pressure on his defense to carry the team, and that's exactly what they did. 7 sacks, 5 turnovers, and it started with Minka Fitzpatrick, a pick 6. But if you think about it, Mitchell Trubisky in overtime, he really can land a couple athletic throws thrown across his body and ultimately put him in position for the game-winning field goal.
I'll tell you, that backup long snapper effort really helped the cause as well. Look at T.J. Watt, though. Even in the win, he has the pec injury, MRI incoming. How devastating could that be for Pittsburgh going forward?
Well, it is very devastating. That's the key word, because you look at T.J. Watt, he's the second best defensive player in all of football, 22.5 sacks last year. That's devastating for Mike Tomlin and his defense.
It's the first Sunday night of the 2022 season. We got Tom Brady coming into Dallas for Sunday Night Football.
Let's go,
we are
baby.
counting you down to kickoff live from Dallas. Micah Parsons getting set for year number 2. I don't know if you saw this silk shirt on the way in, though, Ron. Look at this man right here.
Why are you wearing silk? And it's 90 degrees out here, but that brother clean.
He knows exactly what he is doing. So after the Rookie of the Year campaign, what do you expect from his encore now?
I expect him to be even better. Last year, he said he was kind of learning on the go. This year, he's a lot more comfortable in the system, and I expect Dan Quinn to continue to utilize him like he did last year. Put him at defense end, put him at linebacker, utilize him all over the field so the offense won't come up to the line of scrimmage, know exactly where he's at.
And over that Tom Brady era, they have had one of the best secondaries in the entire league. What's new right now with that group, though?
Well, I like what Todd Bowles is doing. He's taking Antoine Winfield, who played free safety last year, and moving him to strong safety, putting him in the box, closer to the line. He's a lot better player moving forward than he is moving backwards. He gave up a lot of big plays. We saw it in the playoffs. So he was a liability in coverage. I like what they're doing.
And Todd Bowles, he's led that defense, earned this promotion, taken over for Bruce Arians as head coach. And recently, Coach Dungy, he broke out that coach's clicker and showed us a different side of Tampa's new man in charge.
We're in a place where both of us have spent a lot of time. We got a young prospect I want you to look at and evaluate. And tell me a little bit about this guy. Tell me his strengths and weaknesses.
He was very smart. He knew everything about the defense. Wasn't the fastest, but very athletic. Played his first year at nickel. He ran the entire defense at the time, which took a lot of work.
And there's an interception against the Bucks.
Yes.
You were quite a trash talker as a player. Are you a trash talker now as a coach?
I'm probably worse now than I was as a player. Come out here tomorrow with the purpose to get better, not kill each other.
You talk trash to Tom?
I haven't talked trash to Tom yet. Defensively, when I was over there by myself, under my breath, I would say something.
What's that like? You were on the staff, but you weren't coaching Tom. Now you're his coach.
Whether it's throw at 60 or run at 60, he just wants to win the ball game. Our philosophies are the same. He has a killer instinct. I don't say a lot according to popular belief, but I'm trying to cut people's throats out myself.
Bucks on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Well, the other thing I heard is that you're a heck of a singer. Who gets to hear you sing?
I was a street corner singer growing up. I used to be a very good singer. Now I can carry a tune, but...
Can we get a little sample here?
Gosh. Eddie Kane Jr., the 5 Heartbeats. You know I feel like going on.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. No, you're right. That's all right.
I was waiting for Coach to chime in, too. One of the 5 heartbeats. That would have been great. But that was incredible, Coach, just to get to know Todd Bowles a little bit more as he takes over and coaches his first game as the Bucs head coach. But he's done it before with the Jets. So what would you say he's learned from that first stint as a head coach?
He told me that he learned a lot. Number one, not to micromanage. Let Byron Leftwich handle the offense. He's going to stay with the defense. But he did tell me he felt like he had to put his stamp on this team, and that would be discipline and details.
What I love about Todd Bowles is he's a great person.
Yeah.
And he's one of these guys that he, as a coach, holds the players to such a high standards. He challenges them every day, but somehow he makes a connection with them. He relates to them, and they love to play for him.
Yeah, and let's be clear. This is the football coach. He's still calling the plays for the defense. Yes. Y'all had the clicker, and you know his defensive philosophy. So what are we going to see tonight against the Cowboys?
Well, his philosophy, despite that singing and everything,
I know, right?
his philosophy is aggressiveness. Last year in the game, Dallas spread them out a lot, and when he got this look, he tried to pressure. But what that did, Jason, was leave a lot of one-on-ones, and Dak Prescott ate these one-on-ones up last year.
They sure did, and the quick screen was one of their answers, and I love what Kellen Moore did here is quick screen and go. Dak puts it right there. CeeDee Lamb does the rest.
But they had a lot of success doing this, exploiting those one-on-ones. I think Todd Bowles, he talked about learning. I don't think we're going to see this aggressiveness this game.
Well, just remember, Coach, different receiving corps. CeeDee Lamb is the only one left. No Gallup. Okay, no Amari Cooper. They might play man-to-man coverage, double CD, and play man across the board and say, hey, Dak, find somebody to throw it to.
Then this is why we have a coach's corner. We get to debate the philosophy and then sit back and watch and see what happens. Todd Bowles entering his 4th season with Tampa Bay, first year as the head coach of the Bucs. All right, today is also a day of remembrance as we celebrate football. The first Sunday of the season also marks the 21st anniversary of 9/11. So across the country, the NFL, its teams, and its players took a moment to pause, remember, and reflect. And just outside New York City, it was an emotional rendition of the national anthem ahead of the Ravens and Jets. Do not try to adjust your screens. This has actually happened. New faces and different jerseys. A lot of notable QBs changing places this season, including Matt Ryan, who, after 14 years with Atlanta, made his debut for the Colts in Houston today. And so, Chris Sims, that's where we are going to start diving in.
Let's do it.
Let's do it at NRG Stadium. But we're going to start with the Colts and Jonathan Taylor rushing in for a touchdown.
They were patient with Jonathan Taylor all game long. They ran the ball well. He played well. Colts missed some opportunities early on in the football game, but because they got behind, Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, he brings them back. Great touchdown right there.
Yeah, trailed at 20-13. He found Micah Pittman there. So we're going into overtime. 2 minutes to play in overtime. Colts with a chance to win it. Rodrigo Blankenship.
Wide right. There's no wind in that stadium, so that was just wide right.
Maybe there is.
It's a dome.
Yeah.
It's a dome.
He's a former dog. Maybe there was a win.
A tie.
Maybe a little bit. It was a tie. I told you it's a crazy week. Jacksonville taking on the Washington Commanders. Carson Wentz, now a Commander, his 3rd team since 2020. Let's go to the 4th.
Well, you heard me. This is Trayvon Walker, Georgia. Okay, alum. I know you love that. First pick, had a sack in the game. He played well. Jacksonville had opportunities early on and throughout the game to win this, but Carson Wentz's right arm, Maria, was big time all game long. McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, it's hard to match up with those 3 receivers.
That was a 49-yard touchdown to McLaurin. Later in the 4th, Washington marching again, wins to Dotson.
Yep, little out and up route right here. It's hard to cover these guys man-to-man. He had it there. Nice throw by Wentz. Good for him to rebound and win that football game.
Get the win 28-22. Marcus Mariota, welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. Saints down. Jameis Winston finds Michael Thomas, though. It was great to see him on the field.
It was. And you know, this was not one of his best moments there, fumbling the football there. Atlanta controlled this game kind of throughout. But in the 4th corner, Jameis Winston time, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry. It was very impressive. It was a gritty win for these New Orleans Saints. You'll see here the big throw to the left sideline to Jarvis Landry. Just let his players make some plays in some big situations.
That's for 40 yards. Jarvis Landry returning back to his hometown team. And then it's Will Lutz for the go-ahead 51-yarder, and it's good.
That's good. In the dome, straight on. So there was no win there
I
either.
get your point.
Right, got it?
Dennis Allen wins his debut as the Saints head coach, 27-26. Let's talk about Jameis Winston, how he started out this game versus how he finished. And it took an incredible 4th quarter in order to get this victory, 213 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 4th. Let's break down the QB's play. To our coach's corner we go. Tony, Jason?
And Jason, we saw Jameis Winston really come back with a strong 4th quarter. In the past, we've seen him in those situations just try to do too much and get wild with the football. Today, he was under control.
Yeah, -2 yards passing at halftime, had over 200 in the 4th quarter, and he didn't make the bad mistakes and get frustrated when it wasn't going well. He played through it and played great when it came to crunch time.
Yes, he really did. And our Mike Florio actually talked to Jameis Winston. Mike?
Yeah, I did, guys, and I said, what changed? And he said, we spend so much time game planning and trying to figure out what the defense is going to do. There comes a time where you just have to throw out the game plan and let it rip. And as he told me, let your playmakers make the plays. He started by focusing on receiver Michael Thomas, and then when the Falcons defense started to give extra attention to Thomas, that set the stage for that long pass you saw, the 40-yarder to Jarvis Landry that set up the game-winning field goal. So that's the lesson. When nothing's working, let your playmakers make the plays, as long as you have playmakers who can make plays.
That's right.
That's pretty fair. And obviously, we also saw a great second half from Carson Wentz as well. He threw a couple of picks, consecutive plays to start out this game. But we saw the redemption of Wentz.
We saw the redemption. And really, they rode his right arm throughout the football game. Carson Wentz has talent. We've seen enough evidence of that throughout his career. He's done some really good things with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Sure.
Wasn't all that bad last year with the Colts either. But I think the big thing is what you said. I think they're going to have to continue to ride his right arm because I don't think they're going to be a great running football team. They got tremendous weaponry at the wide receiver position. As long as he can limit the mistakes. We saw those 2 bonehead interceptions. But good thing was he kind of wiped the slate clean, and he came back and rebounded with 2 big touchdowns late to help them win the game.
How about this? Wentz, the first time he's had 4 touchdown games since 2017, so it's got to feel good for the Commanders.
Good for him.
Yeah, and they walk away with that victory. All right, we got plenty more highlights coming your way. We are still getting you set, though, right now for the Cowboys taking on the Buccaneers. And check out the shirt for Bruce Arians. I love it.
I like it. I can't pull that off. Maybe you can.
I can pull off anything.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
And Football Night continues on the opening Sunday of the 2022 season. The roof is closed at AT&T Stadium. And inside will be filled with about 90,000 plus in a little bit for the Buccaneers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Tirico with you. Chris Collinsworth and I'll have the game in about an hour or so. And talking with both teams and visiting over the last couple of days, offensive line questions the key on both sides with changes in front of both quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Dak Prescott. Dak, we know about his foot story from earlier this week. If you didn't catch it, felt a little discomfort had to come out of practice Thursday. Looked good Friday, looked good Saturday, so he seems ready to go for tonight. And as for Tom Brady, of course, a lot of conversation with Tom Brady and this team, the 11 days away from the team. Since he's been back, everyone told us he has looked fabulous. He's got a great receiving core. Chris Godwin is active tonight. Hasn't been hit since the ACL injury, but he's active to go with Mike Evans and Julio Jones. Julio Jones sat with us last night. Looks good, feels good. He's ready to get back to his Atlanta status, which was pretty good. For more on some of the new people that helped Tom Brady, we go back outside. Jack and Rodney, guys.
Mike Tirico, thank you very much. And, you know, Tom Brady, he built that Super Bowl run on the chemistry with Rob Gronkowski, who then retired. Then Chris Godwin, he just mentioned, coming off the ACL, but he will go. So how do you recreate that production and the time away on the part of Godwin?
Well, I look at Chris Godwin. I'm just a little concerned. I know how competitive he is. Just hopefully he's not coming back too soon. I had an ACL. It takes a lot longer than 9 months.
How about with Julio Jones?
I love Julio Jones. He's not the same player he used to be, but he's healthy. He's motivated. He's a big target. You know Tom Brady loves those big targets.
Absolutely. So take me with Julio Jones' former teammate, Russell Gage, right? The Bucs give him $10 million per year. So what kind of role do you think he'll play in this offense?
Well, Russell doesn't have the big name. He doesn't have the gaudy numbers, but he's competitive, he's consistent, and he can beat man-to-man coverage, just what Tom Brady likes.
And Gage, he's entering year number 5, coming off 2 of his most productive seasons. So something in there caught Tom Brady's eye, Maria Taylor.
All right, appreciate it, guys. We want to get you back to the highlights. Let's catch your eye with the Ravens taking on the Jets. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens failed to reach a contract extension before the self-imposed deadline of Friday. So if you had questions, Lamar has answers about how he's going to play.
Yes, early on, it wasn't great, but he warmed up and got to it. And even without a great running game, he made things happen, Maria.
Yeah, that was a 17-yard touchdown to Devin Duvernay, and then deep to Rashad Bateman, Coach.
Yes, and the deep ball looked good today. That's something I know he was working on in the offseason.
3 touchdown passes for Jackson in that one. The Eagles taking on the Lions, Jason, and Jalen Hurts does it with his legs.
They run it better than anybody, and he runs it better than anybody. He's tough to beat. 4th and 1, he ran it in for a touch.
All right, later in the second quarter, Goff is intercepted by James Bradbury. It's a pick 6. Philly would win it 38-35.
The new addition paying off already. Great play by Bradbury.
The Eagles scored 24 points in the second quarter, led by 17 points. The Lions did cut it to 3, so it was a little bit closer of a final score than you would think. But let's talk about the Eagles and what we were able to see in that one. Obviously, we know they can do it on the ground, Coach, but a big question was, what will be the impact of A.J. Brown? Like, what is going to be the impact? It was instant.
It really was, and I think this is a perfect marriage, Jason. How long have we heard about inconsistent Philadelphia wide receivers? They run the ball so well, you have to concentrate on Jalen Hurts running. That receiver is going to get a lot of one-on-ones, and A.J. Brown delivered.
This guy is a really good route runner. He's so productive. And you said it, Coach. He's going to get man-to-man coverage because Philly runs it better than anybody, and the quarterback runs it better than anybody. What a great pickup for these guys, and talk about paying dividends. 10 catches for 155 in week 1. It's a great start.
Solid hands, strong, and he is going to make plays for you against one-on-one.
Yeah, that's what we call return on investment. That's what A.J. Brown most certainly is. 155 yards receiving. That ties his career high in game 1 for the Eagles. We are still waiting for the kickoff on our Sunday night football game. Tom Brady just coming onto the field. The 45-year-old is in the hunt for his 8th title. Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
I love it, Tom. Give us all that energy.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. All-you-can-eat boneless wings, here for a limited time. By Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. And by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
Pollard and Elliott are both in.
Zeke and Tony both have that ability. They both hold their own.
He blows through.
I think they're definitely a tandem.
Holy cow, he has been a mauler.
That's obviously a focal point for us.
He escaped. Touchdown, Pollard.
I look at both those guys as number 1 running.
Walks the dog.
All right, well, there's been a lot of talk about this guy right here, Zeke Elliott. We know what he's been for this football team for so long, been the workhorse of the running game for the Dallas Cowboys. Going to be important to see what he can do tonight. They got the combination of him and Tony Pollard, and of course we know they like to throw the ball with Dak Prescott. But how do you see them kind of attacking this Tampa Bay defense tonight?
I think it's going to be tough
Berry?
to run on them.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott struggled in this game last year. I think he struggles again tonight. So the key to me is Tony Pollard in the receiving game. Remember last year the Buccaneers gave up the 2nd most receptions to opposing running backs. Pollard, who had more receiving yards than rushing yards in college, a very adept receiver. I think he has a big game out of the backfield as a pass catcher for Dak Prescott.
Going to be interesting to see their approach with the 2-headed monster they got here. Pollard is the more explosive one. Of course, Zeke Elliott has the more power, consistency there. I got to think run game and the screen game is going to be a big thing for the Dallas Cowboys tonight. They got a left tackle that's never played left tackle before, ever, in the history of his life. And he's got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line. That scares me.
Exactly. So what do? Get the ball out quickly to Tony Pollard. He had 29 receiving yards in this game last year, and that was with a lot more pass catchers for Dallas. After CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz, it's kind of thin, so I think Pollard gets used as a receiver quite a bit tonight. I think he goes well over 20 yards receiving.
All right, so Maria, I think we're saying we like Tony Pollard a little bit tonight. That's what we're saying. Back to you.
Okay, I hear you, and I trust you. I want to get you back to the highlights, though. Cleveland Browns taking on the Carolina Panthers. Baker Mayfield, Tony Dungy, making his first start of the Panthers' debut against his former team.
And it didn't go well early, but Baker hung in there and made some plays to bring his team back. This is what he does well.
Yeah, 7-yard touchdown. Remember, Baker Mayfield said he's off the leash, and the Browns do find a way to answer with the field goals. And so the next Panthers drive, Mayfield finding who else but Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, but you know, this drives me crazy. Cleveland, you're up 2 scores. How can a guy get 10 yards behind you? They have to score quick.
Yeah, this really upsets Coach. That's a 75-yard touchdown, and the Panthers would take a lead on a field goal. So they're feeling good in Carolina. But guess what? Cleveland, they've got a couple of answers. Jacoby Brissett starting in place of suspended Deshaun Watson, and he hits Amari Cooper, the brand new Brown.
Yes, former Cowboy, and Cooper made some plays to drive that football for them.
Okay, that sets up the rookie, Cade York. We haven't seen a lot of great stuff from kickers in the early games, but this one felt good.
Yeah, it was a bomb, and he came through when they needed it. A couple of calls in that game. Terry McCauley says that roughing the passer was a good call.
Okay, the 58-yarder is good, and that is the game winner. So Baker loses against his former team. Browns win 26-24. All right, second-year quarterback Trey Lance starting week 1 for the 49ers. It was basically a monsoon, Coach. I mean, check it out. I don't know if they're swimming or playing football, but potentially a roof coming for Chicago in the future. That'll be nice. Let's go to the third quarter, the turning point in the game with the Bears trailing 10-0.
It was tough playing offense. Justin Fields used his legs quite a bit, bought some time here. This was a big play to give them a spark and bring them back and get them back in the game.
Yeah, Dante Pettis does the rest. It's a 51-yard touchdown, and Pettis, only catch of the game, goes for a touchdown. Now let's go. Fields looking deep. He's got St. Brown.
Yes, and Justin Fields hung in there and played in tough conditions when things weren't going well and really made plays in the fourth quarter to win it.
Ensuing 49ers possession, Lance is intercepted by Eddie Jackson.
And the defense of the Bears came through when they needed it.
All right, and so that leads to a great celebration. The Bears get to slip and slide right past the 49ers. Justin Fields enjoying it. That's how we all feel, though, in week one of being able to watch NFL football all Sunday long. Let's talk more about Justin Fields. He was 5-8 with 101 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half. So it wasn't a great perfect half, but something changed.
Well, new coach, first of all, Matt Eberflus, and I thought this team kind of reflected Matt's personality. Things weren't going well. They continued to grind and hustle and play, and Justin Fields made plays with his legs when it was tough throwing the ball. They got him on some design runs, some naked bootlegs, used his athleticism. Here he beats a blitz, makes another run, makes it happen. And then we saw the touchdown pass where, again, he avoids the sack, uses all that athleticism to make plays. This is where they really got going in the second half with him outside the pocket.
So the number 11 overall pick from 2019 walks away with the win and the great celebration, 19-10 against the Bears. But for more on the other sideline in Trey Lance, let's go over to Chris Sims and Jason Garrett.
Yeah, well, let's hit on Trey Lance a little bit. I think this might be the biggest story in the sport right now, really. With the 49ers, we know how talented of a football team they are. They lose a tough game in tough conditions to a lesser Chicago Bears team. Let's look at Trey Lance a little bit, Jason Garrett, and some of the things he did well and not so well. Yes, there's inconsistencies in the throwing, certainly. As Coach Dungy's already talked about, tough conditions, misses an easy completion there.
He's capable, though, Simsy. You see it here. He stands in there, throws the deep over route. It's right on the money. A lot of good stuff with Trey Lance.
There is. There's a lot of talent to be had. You can see his ability running the football here. Nice quickness. Gets a tough third down run there on 3rd and 13. But it's these moments that scare us a little bit. Inconsistency in throwing, inconsistency in decision-making. And that led this Bear team, allowed them to get back in the football game.
And if you're Kyle Shanahan, you have to think about this. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is 8-29, playing with a quarterback not named Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
He's 31-14 with Garoppolo. Garoppolo's on the team. Trey Lance is going to be a great football player in this league for a long time. I'm not quite so sure you just hand him the job when you have this other guy who's taking you to the NFC Championship game. He's taking you to the Super Bowl. It'll be interesting in San Francisco.
Definitely going to be interesting. Also, took a lot of hits today. That does scare me, so thank God they got Jimmy Garoppolo behind him, Maria. That's something to watch out for. But his development, we know how good they are. They're a Super Bowl caliber football team. They go 0-2 against the Seattle Seahawks next week. How long is that leash for Trey Lance?
All right, well, that's one coach's opinion on this show. What was your takeaway from the 49ers performance?
I really agree with Jason. I think this has to be an organizational decision. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, the general manager, you've drafted Trey Lance with a high pick, but you've got a guy on the team that took you to a Super Bowl.
Right.
And you're sitting there, your players know Jimmy Garoppolo is taking you to a Super Bowl. So I think you've got to be careful and make sure you don't lose the team. Make sure if it's not going well, go back to the guy who took you.
Okay, well, the ray of sunshine for 49ers fans, maybe he won't have to play in a monsoon every single week in Sunday Night Football. Let's talk about what we're going to see here tonight, though. The Cowboys taking on the Bucs. Dak Prescott, remember, he led the best offense in the NFL just a season ago. We'll see, with some of those questions remaining for the Cowboys, how they respond against the Bucs. Meanwhile, tonight, 21 years after 9/11, the honorary captain is Medal of Honor recipient Captain Flo Groberg. He was born in France, and Flo immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 12. And after joining the U.S. Army, he distinguished himself by acts of courage above and beyond the call of duty in Afghanistan. Captain Groberg being celebrated for his service tonight.
Time to get on your feet. This is what happens when we get together.
To the end zone. Touchdown. What did we just witness? Unbelievable.
This is what happens when we get together.
Fire the camera. Touchdown. That's a somersault. Cowboys win. Victory. Thank you for coming.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Awaiting kickoff between Tampa Bay and the Cowboys in Arlington, Texas, and a great scene at our Applebee's set. Fans getting set for game 1 of the Cowboys season, and they'll probably be excited to see a young man named Micah Parsons on the field. Yes, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Not a rookie anymore, but I think he'll still be effective.
Oh, he's awesome. He's one of the best defensive players in football, no doubt.
And Rodney Harrison says, pressure inside against Tom Brady. I look for this guy to be blitzing inside tonight.
All right, we will see what that Cowboys defense has for Tampa Bay. But first, let's talk about what we've already seen. Chris Sims, the Giants taking on the Titans. Brian Daboll making his NFL head coaching debut, former Bills offensive coordinator, and making it work.
Gets the touchdown here, clutch touchdown, and the Giants go for 2 on the road, Maria. Saquon Barkley, who looked phenomenal in this football game, big-time 2-point conversion.
Yeah, Daboll being aggressive in game 1 of his head coaching career. 2 minutes to play.
Left. Misses it.
Left.
Brian Daboll in, the G-men coming up with the victory right there.
Randy Bullock gets the miss, and Daboll walks away with the win. New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel making a debut as a head coach, and who's the OC for the 49ers last season. All right, Joe Judge, Matt Patricia, they returned. We were talking about Miami to start out this game.
Right. Yes, they were. The Miami defense is special. We know that. Xavier Howard, what a great play on the ball. Tips it up in the air. Javon Holland gets the interception.
All right, so Mac Jones intercepted, but second quarter, Patriots down 3. Where's the answer?
The answer is not that. I can tell you that much. And the left tackle, it looks like there's got to bump out, pick up that blitzer. Mac Jones gets blindsided. Easy touchdown for the Dolphins.
All right, just before halftime, Tua to Jalen Waddle, and he'll waddle his way all the way into the end.
4th and 7 there, on the fringe of whether to kick the field goal or not. Mike McDaniel makes the big-time call, goes for it, gets the TD.
All right, Miami wins it 20-7. Steelers taking on the Bengals. This is a long one.
Oh, my gosh.
Burrow finding Jamar Chase. But guess what? They're going to look at this one. It is said no good.
Well, they never challenged it. This should have been a touchdown, I think, if they challenged it, but they hurried up and got up the line of scrimmage and ran a play, and that ended up in no points on this series right here for the Cincinnati Bengals.
The league did confirm that would have been a touchdown if it was challenged, but that pass incomplete to Chase. All right, quick punt. And now the one-handed catch.
It was an unbelievable one-handed catch, but the right toe just touches out of bounds, right? And the Bengals, this game was unreal. We could do a whole show on this game in the 4th quarter, but yet here we are in another nail-biting moment. Off coverage on Jamar Chase. Why? Double team him, please. He's kind of good.
That's perfect timing for a touchdown. We're going to keep going back and forth. A field goal away from a win for the Bengals. Can they hit it?
No, they cannot. They were missing their long snapper, and there was problems with snaps and putting the ball down the proper way. Minkah Fitzpatrick, great job right there, who made a lot of big plays for Steelers today.
Okay, so that means we're going to overtime. Sorry, Jamar Chase. Deep breath. Here we go.
Not over yet.
Cincy would, though, have yet another chance.
Chip shot. Yep. Here we go. But again, snapper's not there. Snaps it high. Messes up the rhythm of Money McPherson there, and he shanks it to the left.
That was a 29-yarder, and it is no good. How about the Steelers' turn here? Chris Boswell. Is it? No.
Boing, boom. I don't know. That was a long field goal that looked like it was going in. It curved to the left at the last second, and this game just continues to give us gifts. The game that never ends right here.
We really can't make any of this up. Okay, so the Steelers, they forced a punt and got one more chance to win in the final seconds.
And he kicked this one straight. He said, the heck with playing the win. I'm just going right down the middle. Knocks it in. Huge win for the Steelers. Very sloppy play by the Bengals today.
Okay, well, look at the locker room celebration. The Steelers are dancing, and so is Mike Tomlin, because they forced 5 turnovers, got the win. I mean, but our coaches in the coaches' corner.
They can't do that, I don't think.
No, and we'll see whether or not they're high on the play of the Cincinnati Bengals in this one.
Well, Jason, some celebration there in Pittsburgh, but Cincinnati, if I'm coaching there, I've got some worries, okay? My long snapper is going to get back. That'll get fixed. But the offensive line, Joe Burrow got hit more than any quarterback in the league last year, and it wasn't any better this year. 7 sacks, 8 hurries, 2 hits. 6 times he had to scramble, 4 picks. What's going on there?
Well, they have some new additions. And like you said, it doesn't really look like it's changed very much. Let's give Pittsburgh some credit, too. They were pressuring from all different areas, and take the ball away 5 times in a ball game. You're going to win a lot of games doing that.
Yeah, those takeaways hurt. Cincinnati got to get that offensive line fixed. They thought they had with some of these draft choices. Didn't look like it today. Maria?
All right, thanks, coaches. Let's go back to Mike Florio because the Steelers did get the win, but it came at a cost injury-wise, Mike.
That's right. There is an injury to linebacker T.J. Watt. The concern is it's a torn pec, but they've done no MRIs yet. They'll do them tomorrow. There's hope it's a partial tear, and then he'll be back at some point later this season. Alex Highsmith takes over as their top pass rusher. He had 3 sacks today. Malik Reed would replace T.J. Watt. Running back Najee Harris also was injured. He rolled an ankle. The hope is he'll be fine. They're still watching and waiting to see what transpires there. And for the Patriots, who play the Steelers in Pittsburgh next week, Mac Jones, back injury today. X-rays negative after the game. This is a wait-and-see type of a thing. The assumption is by the time we get to Wednesday with the practice report, he'll be limited in practice due to that back injury, Maria.
All right, thanks, Mike. Let's go back to the Pats and the Dolphins and stick with the Dolphins side of it because Tyreek Hill in a brand-new jersey and 94 yards, he seemed very comfortable in that win against the Patriots.
Yeah, the offense in general in Miami seemed very comfortable. I mean, Tua looked good. They run the football. We know their defense is really good, and they found a lot of ways to get easy completions for Tyreek Hill. We know Tua, he can wheel and deal like a point guard. He's not necessarily known for a great strong arm, but hey, here's a 20-yard out, right on the money. The defender's scared to death of Tyreek Hill running by him. Then it's a little play action, boom, right over the middle. This guy is so dangerous with the ball in his hands. And then once again, in motion, keeping the defense off guard. Where's he going to be? Does a great job here of going up and getting a back shoulder throw. And then the screen game. This is where he's special too. Throw a ball 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then it's go-go, gadget legs there, and he runs down the sideline for 20 yards.
Yeah, and all he does is just lead the Dolphins in receptions, targets, and yards in his debut with the Dolphins. It's time now for Sunday Night 7. $100,000 up for grabs, and Matthew Berry, more receiving yards and touchdowns is going to be CeeDee Lamb or Mike Evans.
Well, for the receiving yards, give me CeeDee Lamb. Remember, when he gets 6 or more targets last year, he averaged nearly 85 yards a game. No Cedric Wilson, no Amari Cooper, no Michael Gallup in this game. 165 targets from last year are available. CeeDee Lamb will be targeted early and often. As for touchdowns, though, I think Mike Evans scores more touchdowns than CeeDee Lamb. Remember, 27 touchdowns in 32 career games with Mike Evans. Top 10 in end zone targets. He gets into the end zone tonight.
All right, well, you can make your decision and make your pick for free on the NBC Sports Predictor app. We are still waiting to see Tampa Bay taking on the Cowboys. Jerry Jones got the shades on, ready for game 1, keeping it cool before the boys play.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
All right now, football fans, we got the season premiere of Sunday Night Football. This goes out to my man, Tom Brady, an all-time classic just for you 12.
22 seasons, 7-time Super Bowl champion quarterback Tom Brady is officially retiring.
That applause lasted longer than Tom Brady's retirement.
We all have really unique challenges to our life.
NFL legend Tom Brady, not at the Buccaneers training camp.
I'm 45 years old, man. There's a lot going on.
Whatever the reason, he's not on the field. The star quarterback's absence looming over, well, everything.
Gotta just really appreciate what the time I have left, because it's not a lot.
We're glad you're back, Tom. Now go get them Cowboys.
Let's go!
Well, Tom Brady made clear his desire to play until the age of 45. It sounded hyperbolic, but he now becomes the oldest player to make a start in NFL history. But he did leave training camp for 11 days, so how big of a concern is that for your old teammate and quarterback, Rodney?
Look, I played with Tom Brady for 6 years. I've known him almost 20 years. No matter what's going on in his personal life, when he steps on this football field, he's going to be ready to play.
I'm with you. Let's go on the field live, presented by Hyundai. Trayvon Diggs led the NFL in interceptions last year. How will Brady consider his skill set with their offensive game?
Trayvon is extremely aggressive cornerback. He takes a lot of chances. He makes a lot of plays, but he also gives up a lot of big plays. And you know Tom Brady. Tom Brady loves those aggressive defensive backs. He will not shy away from them. He's going to take that as a challenge.
And Shaq Barrett, he has been the Bucs' best pass rusher, remains that way. Left tackle of the Cowboys, Tyron Smith, is out. What kind of an opportunity will that present?
Well, he'll be facing rookie left tackle Tyler Smith. This is a matchup that he must dominate. And he's got to get the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands fast. I'm thinking Tampa Bay defensively, they're going to come out, they're going to blitz, they're going to show a lot of different looks, and they're going to force a lot of one-on-one matchups.
Well, Maria Taylor, the Cowboys are going to have to put together a run without their blind side. Once again, back over to you.
All right, appreciate it, Jack, Maria, Tony, Jason still here with you, and we still have a couple more highlights to get to.
Yes, we do.
So, Coach, I want to go to Minnesota. They have a brand new head coach in Kevin O'Connell, and they were hosting the Green Bay Packers, getting a little hug from his daughter Quinn to start out. It warms your heart, and then you think he loves to see this. Cousins to Justin Jefferson.
Yes, and he had Cooper Kupp last year when he was the offensive coordinator with the Rams. He knows how to use receivers, and he got Justin Jefferson open all day today.
He had 2 touchdowns, a career-high 184 receiving yards on 9 catches, making it look easy, Coach.
He did, and then the defense on the other side of it, they got after 2. I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of gritties, though, from Justin with Kevin.
I totally agree. Okay, second half, you mentioned the defense. Packers down 17-0. Aaron Rodgers sacked by a former Cardinal, Jordan Hicks.
Yeah, Green Bay had offensive line issues, injuries, and it showed up today. They really harassed Rodgers.
All right, Vikings win it 23-7. All right, Jason, Raiders taking on the Chargers. Justin Herbert, Chargers up 7. He's going to find Gerald Everett for an 18-yard touchdown.
I don't know that I've ever seen a young quarterback make the game look so easy at such a young age as Justin Herbert. The guy's fantastic, but the defense was awfully good, too.
Yeah, you're right. With the Raiders down 11, Derek Carr going deep. But it's Asante Samuel Jr. who comes up with the interception. Carr had 3 interceptions, ties his career high.
Yeah, new additions on the defense, and they paid dividends. Here's Khalil Mack getting after Derek Carr, snuffing out the Raiders' last chance.
Yeah, just getting after his former teammate, Khalil Mack.
Say, didn't he play with the Raiders?
They did. No
sure
love
did.
lost. Chargers get the win 24-19. All right, the Chiefs taking on Arizona. Let's see Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes to Kelsey. We're used to seeing this, right? 9-yard touchdown.
And he's really going to struggle without Tyreek Hill, right?
Wrong. Later in the first, Mahomes. How about a little shovel pass? We've seen that before.
So creative. Just all these different ways to get his playmakers the ball.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 2 touchdowns on the day. To the third quarter we go. And 23-7, the Chiefs are up. Mahomes, let's find somebody else. Let's mix it up. Mecole Hardman.
Fast receiver. Mecole Hardman just on the little jet out there. Mahomes just picked up right where he left off last year.
All right, it's time for our Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. And Chris Sims, how did the Chiefs do without Tyreek Hill on the field?
This just in, I think they're going to be okay, like Coach Dungy talked about. First off, there's a wide variety of weapons, and it's a creative offensive scheme. And it's just hard to say who's going to get the ball. There's Juju Smith-Schuster over the middle. He played really well. Oh, now it's Marquez Valdez-Scantling catching a ball, running after the catch. Hey, you know, then they have this great offensive line that pass protects. I don't know, let me double pump it. Oh, wait, then we throw it sidearm to Sky Moore running down the middle of the football field. I honestly think the weaponry might be more dangerous because you just don't know who they're going to go to here. Finding Jody Fortson in the back of the end zone. There is a lot of guys for Mahomes and Andy Reid to play with in this offense.
All right, that was the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. Patrick Mahomes finishing with 360 yards and 5 touchdowns in the air. Now, Jason Garrett, I have a question for you. If you were starting an NFL team right now, your first pick of the draft would be who?
Well, it's unfair because you just showed me Mahomes. Go for the guy threw 6 touchdowns.
No, you got to stick to what you said in the screening room.
No, but having said that, I love Mahomes. How can you not? But that guy playing for the Chargers, Justin Herbert, I absolutely love that guy. He's so good in the pocket. He shows he can make plays on the move. I think he's a special player. He's going to play for 20 years. And, again, so easy at such a young age. Playing quarterback in the NFL is hard to do.
Yes, it is.
And it's like he's playing in the park.
Yeah.
And Jason and Maria, I have to give some coaches some shout-outs. New coaches in a lot of places. Some of them made a big, big difference. But Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, he has completely changed the atmosphere. The players are relaxed. They're happy to be there. And he is doing some things with 3 wide receivers, moving Justin Jefferson around. It was awesome.
Yeah, and they get the win in Game 1 of the Kevin O'Connell era. All right, we're getting set for Sunday Night Football. Dak Prescott says the Cowboys are ready to prove their doubters wrong. But up first, they got to get past the GOAT, Tom Brady, and the Bucs. Up next, we'll make our picks and bring you the best of today's matchups. Just moments away from our final game of Week 1, we are awaiting the Buccaneers and the Cowboys as Brady and Dak Prescott head into the locker room to get those final conversations out with the team. Less than 8 minutes left on our Sunday Night Football countdown clock. So as we wait for that game, let's talk about the best of Week 1 we've already seen. And we start with Cleveland and Carolina. Baker against his old team, Coach.
Yes, and you know he wanted this, started off slow, but rallied the team, put him in position to win.
However, the Browns rookie kicker, Cade York, would win it with a 58-yarder.
Yes, questionable fake spike. Was it intentional grounding? But York came through for them.
All right, we got another last-second kick in this one. New Orleans taking on Atlanta. This time it was Will Lutz, though, Jason.
Hey, Saints struggled early, rallied in the end behind Jameis, and Will Lutz did the rest for the game-winner 51-yarder.
Yeah, that one is good. New Orleans wins it by 1 on the road in Atlanta. Pittsburgh taking on Cincinnati. Our first overtime game, the thriller in Cincy, Coach Dungy.
Single coverage on Jamar Chase after a questionable call on Minka Fitzpatrick.
And then the Bengals needed that extra point, but it is blocked. So we go to overtime, and kickers galore having issues, having problems, but then finally Chris Boswell hits the game-winning 53-yarder.
Pittsburgh really did persevere. Their defense came up with play after play after play.
Let's go to Washington and Jacksonville. We've got a new Commanders QB, Carson Wentz, going to Jahan Johnson off the top.
This one was back and forth, too, Maria. Love what Scott Turner, the offensive coordinator, did there. Out and up. Wentz to Dotson for the winner.
That was the go-ahead touchdown that they needed. Indianapolis taking on Houston. Matt Ryan used to see him in a Falcons jersey. Now he's throwing it to Michael Pittman.
Brought him back, gave them a chance to win the game, too, but a miss caused it to be a tie game.
Yep, tied up at 20-20. Philadelphia taking on Detroit. You're used to seeing this. Jalen Hurts using the legs.
4th and goal. They are so hard to stop running the football, especially down there with that guy playing quarterback.
Eagles get the win 38-35. Chicago taking on San Fran. It was a sloppy day, but good to be a Bears fan.
Things started rough for Justin Fields, but he finished it off strong with a touchdown pass.
Yes, the Giants taking on the Titans. Giants scored with just over a minute left, Jason.
So great to see Saquon Barkley back and healthy. One of my favorite guys in football. I love him. He was big today for the G-Men.
And the Titans would get into field goal range, but Randy Bullock's 47-yarder is wide right. Brian Daboll gets his first victory as the head coach of the New York Giants. Chargers taking on Vegas. Justin Herbert showing he's among the elite.
Yes, and Jason Garrett's #1 draft choice is outstanding. I can't say I disagree with you, Coach.
Well, he did throw 3 touchdowns, and that one was to his brand new tight end. That was the best of Week 1 brought to you by Verizon, the network America relies on. All right, Coach Dungy, your takeaway from Week 1 after we've seen everything that happened so far this week.
We had a bunch of new coaches in the league making their debuts, and some of them really came through. Mike McDaniel, I thought in Miami, was outstanding, and Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota.
How about my man Matt Eberflus in Chicago?
Yeah.
Big win in the rain against the Niners. Great stuff.
How about it? Yeah, putting on the slip and slide and walking away with the victory. All right, it's time now for the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's, and we always start with America's pick. Jack Collinsworth, take it away.
Maria, 63% of the country is on the Bucs, so both these offensive lines, they go from a strength to a liability, but going from all-pro Tyron Smith to a rookie, that's a steep fall off for Dallas. I'm taking Tampa. What do you have your eye on, Rob?
If the Cowboys want to win this game, they have to dominate on the defensive line. Interior defensive line, put that pressure in Tom Brady's face. I don't think they can do it. I'm going with Tampa Bay.
And Brady has never lost the Cowboys. I don't know what's up with that, Coach Garrett. Let's go over to Mike Florio. Who are you rocking with?
Well, you know, there's been some concern this week about Dak Prescott's ankle. Is it the shoes too tight? Is there something with the ankle? I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. I still think either way, Buccaneers win the game, Matthew Berry.
Questions about both offenses, so I go with the best unit on the field, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. I'm not going against Tom Brady in primetime. Give me Tampa.
I hear what you're saying. I'm scared of the Cowboys' offensive line versus Cowboys' defensive line. I'm going with Tampa as well.
I'm going to join you guys. I'm going with Tampa, too. Jason, who are you going with?
Hey, I'm taking the Dallas Football Cowboys. You kidding me? It's going to be hard to move the ball against these guys. They got to run it. Dak's going to make some plays for them.
Well, which unit can protect their quarterback the best and which playmakers are going to step up? Tom Brady hasn't had a lot of time with his guys, but I'm going with the Buccaneers. I think they put more pressure on Dak Prescott today.
We talked a lot about uncertainties. What are the answers you want to see from tonight's game?
The biggest thing is they have to quiet the game down. You keep hearing me say that you can't let this Tampa Bay defensive front go wild. Run the ball, get the ball out on the perimeter to Pollard and the receivers. They can get after it.
All right, listen, guys. In week 1, we've had 2 overtimes. We've had a tie in 8 games decided by 1 score. That means it's going to be a good one tonight. All ready for the season debut of Sunday Night Football. A couple of division champs, the Bucs, the Cowboys, Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark have the call after Carrie Underwood kicks us off. See you at halftime.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.